Hello, everybody out there in podcast land. This is Brian with the Miseducation of Tracy Alexander on Anchor. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you, so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many, many more. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. It's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. All you got to do is simply download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. Once you do that, go to the Miseducation of Tracy Alexander on anchor.fm, and we'll talk to you then.
All right, y'all, we're back at the Purple House, y'all. I got my boy up here, Brian.
Hey.
Y'all, we just chilling. We had came across some things that I had read up on, like on radio.com. You know, it says 2 people were hospitalized in stable condition after falling from a balcony from the New Orleans parade route on Sunday past. You know, I just think that where were they to even like fall off of this? How can I put it off this balcony? Because they said that this had to be like an uptown parade route. So where would they have like this balcony would be at?
They would have to have been on the balcony, because like all the balconies, and there's a lot of balconies.
But we talk about uptown. Shout outs to uptown, by the way. We're gonna say that too. I just think that, you know, were they just the only 2 that were up on the balcony? Were they having a party or getting drunk? Were they just standing out there for, you know, like the parades or whatever? You know, like, that just kind of like boggles my mind. But not only that, I also, Mardi Gras. But I also want to add to that as well. You know, they had 2 people that were also ran over by the floats out there. One for the Knicks, one for the Endymion Parade. The thing about it that's ironic behind this situation is that both of them were African American. One by the name of Geraldine Camuch at the age of 58, and the other one under Joseph Sampson, who is also the age of 58. Not only that, we also had 2 people who fell off of floats during one of the parades uptown as well. You know, also to me, to put like the icing on the cake behind it, which I think that is crazy that they fell off floats. Don't they supposed to be like latched into the little chain things or whatever to stop them from falling? But to not only that, to top it off and put the cherry on top, we also have a brawl that started at the Zulu Ball this year. And, you know, with all that being said, and give or take to how, if you haven't been to New Orleans or if you have been to New Orleans, me myself being a native from there, I do think that the city is a live, active, energy-based city, if I can say it like that, or, you know...
It never stops.
Not about just that it never stops, but that the city is alive, that it can totally consume you. You know what I'm saying? Like, they still have, like I was saying, I was speaking to someone earlier on the phone, and they were talking about that you could totally understand that when you step into New Orleans, you step into like a world of its own. You know what I'm saying? And that the energies around that area are just so different from everywhere else. And, you know, it kind of like dawned on me, especially like when I found out that it was like all in combinations of 2s. The 2 people fell off the float. The 2 people fell off the balcony. The 2 people got ran over by floats. You only had 1 brawl. And looked like on the video, looked like 2 champagne bottles was busted on top of the heads. So I mean, look like this thing with number 2 this year has been like real serious in New Orleans. You know,
there's 2 bodies in the Hard Rock Cafe hotel.
Yeah, they got 2 bodies in the Hard Rock Cafe. So, you know, like pertaining to like the energies, you know, I feel like that our ritual of I guess, no, I won't say ritual. I would say more of like the religion of voodoo is strongly in effect in New Orleans. I feel that a lot of people who don't believe in that type of magic or some sort of magic believes in them. Because, you know, it's so crazy that all this happened, you know, during this time. It's just ironic that it happens like that in New Orleans, especially during the time of like the carnival season, you know, which at the same time, you know, that's like, is it paganism? Is that the word I'm looking for? Where you go through the process of worshiping idol gods and stuff, because you are actually doing that when you at Mardi Gras, because you're throwing your hands up and trying to get attention from these people on these floats to throw you gifts.
You have to take it up with those people that are sitting there holding those crosses down at Mardi Gras, calling people sinners.
Well, hey, they eat shellfish, so they going to hell too. You know, I just think it's crazy. Or like, you know, how can you? In my mind, I just don't understand. Me being from New Orleans my whole life, how can you get ran over by a float anyway? You know, like you decide at the last minute that you want to go under a tire. Me personally, I think that these 2 people were pushed.
That's your story and you're sticking
That's
to
my.
it?
I mean, come on, you got to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
They had to have been pushed under there. That's a float.
What draws you to that conclusion? Was there any?
You get that close up to a float and you see the tire and you don't think that tire gonna run over your feet. You just gonna keep your foot there? No. You see how close you is up on that float? Hell yeah, that float is like right up here. So you mean to tell me if you see this big old this okay.
So you're saying they got pushed accidentally or intentionally?
I'm saying they got pushed, period.
All right.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying, like, for instance, during Mardi Gras, you know how many people is out there doing these parades.
They got bumped under a float.
Or they got pushed. They could have been like, I don't like that bitch.
They got bumped under a float.
It don't have to be ain't no bump gonna push you under there. It's I don't like you and I see you within this crowd. I'm gonna push you up under there. You have to fall all the way down to be ran over by a float. First of all.
I've never been hit by a float.
I've never been hit by one neither. You can't get hit by a float because they move slow. First of all.
2 people got hit by floats and killed.
2 people at the same age. Our brothers and sisters.
So I guess the moral of the story is a warning to the wise. When you turn 58 and you go to Mardi Gras, watch those floats.
Because somebody gonna push you. You don't watch the flow. You watch the people around you.
Yeah.
You should take that back, and it should say, during Mardi Gras, keep your enemies far away. Because they'll push you under a flow.
I'm understanding what you're saying. I'm still not getting where you're getting pushed under a float.
You cannot just accidentally get ran over. How long you said in New Orleans, Brian?
12 years.
Okay, you see how slow those floats move, okay? Right? You see how big those floats are, right?
I'm just saying.
Right. So if you standing in front, if you standing right there by that float, what you gonna slip on that's gonna make you fall up under that float? A bee?
And you could slip on one of those Zulu coconuts or something.
Whatever. There wasn't even Zulu time. This the Nixon and Endymion. So my thing is, I feel that they were pushed. Okay.
All right, we're going to investigate that some more.
That's case closed. The people was pushed under there. That lady wig came off and everything. That man probably was Muslim with the name Joseph Samson.
The man's wig came off?
He could have been Muslim and lost his bean pies.
My God.
But at the same time, bro, if you look at the situation and from you being in New Orleans for 12 years, the only way that you get hit by a float is if somebody pushed you.
All right, I'm going to concede. I'm going to concede with that and say that he was pushed by a float.
Well, what you think happened?
I have no information to go on other than he was hit by a float and killed.
Well, how you think it happened, though? What you think he looked down and said, "Ooh, $1," and the float was coming directly at him?
He might have been reaching for a souvenir.
And the float was coming at him. He was in the middle of the street.
Yeah, you know how sometimes they throw something to you and you go to catch it and you bobble it? And you drop it, you go to get it, and before everybody else jumps on it?
Okay.
Well, it might have landed in the wrong place.
And the float was... You see how slow the floats move?
So how are you going to push somebody under a float when they're moving that slow?
With
You
your
pretty
hand.
much have to hold them down there with their head down on the ground.
You have to push them at the last minute.
And even if a float hit you, it wouldn't be going fast enough to knock you down.
Exactly. Which means that for them to have got ran over, they had to be pushed down.
Knocked out first.
No, you have to at least be pushed down.
Well, you be able to get out the way.
Because if you down on all fours and you look up and the float is right there, then
it's too late.
It's too late. You gonna get ran over. Now, if you standing up and the float is right here, you still have time. You can use your hand to push yourself back. Or if the float just happened to be ready to about to run over you, you can push till you fall on your back and roll to the side.
I've never had that problem. I've never been pushed in front of a float.
Me neither. I ain't trying to be pushed under it. But anyway,
they could have committed suicide.
Oh, okay. Oh, I'm gonna kill myself at the Mardi Gras parade while everybody happy.
Blame it on the float, you know.
You cannot blame the float. You have to blame the enemies.
The people who pushed them?
The people who was around them. Around both of them. You have to understand that people will play friend until the right moment. All the time. Then, not only that, how you so excited throwing beads and all that other junk from off the floats that you fall off the float?
Oh, well, I've just about done that. I have almost thrown myself off of a float, throwing beads and stuff off of a float.
You was that excited?
No, it was just the jerking around and standing up and the float taking off and stopping and stuff, and just, you're tripping over beads and shit.
But that's why you wear the safety harness connector.
That's like me wearing a helmet when I went to school, I didn't want to wear the helmet.
See, if you follow instructions lead you to safety, people. Wear your safety harnesses. But look, y'all, we will definitely be right back with a little bit more from this episode, talking about the parades and everything. And we'll definitely get back to y'all on that, because I think that's something serious. I think it's very much more to that. I think those people were murdered. Mm-hmm. I think that they were murdered. It's erroneous. It's erroneous.
It's uh-oh.
But anyway, we'll definitely be back.